Timirechinskaya region. The largest centers of the uprising were the Timirechins and Turgai Hearts. In the Semipalatinsk region, armed resistance took on a massive character already in July-August. Rebel detachments, armed with pikes, hunting rifles, and cold steel, were organized everywhere. On July 17th, martial law was declared in Timirecha and Turkestan region. The Tsarist authorities moved a large military force here, strengthened military garrisons, and created armed detachments from the wealthy strata of the Timuretan migrant population to crack down on Kazakh and Kyrgyz rebels. Major clashes between the rebels and the royal punishers took place in the Asi Tract, the Karkara mountain valley, in the area of the station of Samsa, in the areas of Kastek, Narankol, Charin, Kuram, in Sadr Matai, parish of the Lepinsky district, and in other places. In September, early October, a significant part of the Timuretan rebels pressed from all sides by punitive detachments were forced to retreat with stubborn battles to withdraw to western China. Mass arrests were made, military field cults operated. The Punishers dealt with the civilian population, and dozens of villages were destroyed. More than 300,000 Kazakhs and Kyrgyz migrated to China. Sirdarya region. There were long-lasting rebel demonstrations in the Auliye Ata and Shymkent counties, but by the end of September, they were brutally suppressed. Separate detachments migrated to the Turgai region. The rebel fought fierce battle with the Punishers in the Semipalatinsk and Akmola regions. Especially strong clashes took place in September-October 1960 in Zaistan, Uskamengord, Karkali, Akmola, Atbasar counties. By the end of October, the uprising was suppressed.
The main driving force of the uprising were representatives of the national peasantry, Sharwa, as well as representatives of the nascent working class, artisans, representatives of the nascent national intelligentsia. Representatives of other strata of the Kazakh people also participated in it by Volos administrators B. In general, the national liberation movement of 1916 in Kazakhstan was mono-national, with the exception of its southern regions, Semirechye and Sirdarya region, where, along with the Kazakhs, Uyghurs, Uzbeks, Kyrgyz, Tungans and representatives of some other people participated in the uprising. In Kazakh society, the attitude to the decree of the Tsar and the uprising was ambiguous. A certain part of the feudal elite, as well as officials of the so-called native administration, unconditionally supported the royal decree and became its main guides to life. Radical representatives of the Kazakh intelligentsia, Bokin, Niazbekov and Junusov, sharply opposed it and called on the people to armed resistance. And the leaders of the liberal democratic intelligentsia, united around the newspaper Kazakh, its by Tursunov, Bukikhanov and Dulatov, took an indecisive position. They repeatedly tried to convince the Tsarist administration not to rush with mobilization, to carry out preparatory measures. At the same time, they urged not to resist the implementation of the decree, not without reason believing that the unarmed people would become victims of the cruel repressions of Tsarism. Gradually, the spontaneous movement began to take on an organized character. Its large centers appeared in Turgai and Semirechye. The reasons for the defeat were weak organization, the spontaneity of the speech, the absence of a single plan of joint action or a single leadership, and the poor armament of the rebels. The uprising of 1916 occupies a special place in the history of the centuries-old national liberation movement of the Kazakh people. In the condition of imperialism and the First World War, among Yelaman and other leaders of the uprising raised the people to fight for independence, which was started at the time by Sarsembinov, Isatai Taymanov, Mahomet Utimisov, Kinesari and Nauruzbay Kasımov. For the first time, after the national liberation movement under the leadership of Kinesari Kasımov, the uprising of 1916 had an all-Kazakh character, covering all regions of the vast region.